how many of you guys have said things to yourself that you would never say to any other human on the planet? Put labels on yourself. Do you know that we get to choose how we label ourselves? You actually have a choice. You have a choice to see things as opportunities or as obstacles. You also have a choice on the labels that you take on and the labels that you decide are no longer a part of you. And so today we're going to get that chance because I'm going to take you guys through an active learning experience to find out what some of those labels are. And then we're going to go into groups and you guys are going to rewrite them, right? Because you get to take charge and you get to decide what those labels are. Nobody else can give you a label unless you believe it to be true. We're going to go through some of these questions real quick. The first one that I want you guys to answer is I want you to think about what's a vice that you're ready to overcome forever. What's a vice you're ready to overcome forever? Let me give you about 20 seconds. The first one that popped into your mind. The first one that popped into your mind, write it down. Nobody else needs to see your answers, so you don't need to filter it. But write that down. What is a vice that you're ready to overcome forever? That you know when you overcome this, it's going to help you become the best version of you. And it's going to help you model the behavior for the best version of you to everyone else, including your family and those you lead. All right, you guys got it? Now, here's what I want you to do. I want you to now think about what are some of the labels that you give yourself when your vice takes control. The way I like to think about this is what are some of the stories that you tell yourself about yourself? What are some of those stories? Maybe I'm weak. Maybe I'm a perfectionist. Maybe I'm just an angry person. That was definitely me. Being a police officer for 20 years, seeing a whole lot of negativity, I thought I was just an angry person. But the reason why I wanted to believe that is because I didn't have to find a different way, actually step into somebody else, or actually step into becoming the best version of me and become someone different in the process. It's much easier just to call yourself an angry person because then when you take those actions, you're like, nope, this is just a part of me. But you can change those anytime you want. So I want you to think about what are some of the labels that you tell yourself when your vice takes control? What harsh names or identities do you attach to yourself in those moments? So take about a minute and write down what are some of those things. If we don't become aware of them, it's very hard to fight against them. So write down what comes up for you. The third part of this is what are the labels that you need to place on yourself to align yourself with the person that you need to be? So when you close your eyes and you think about the man, the husband, the father, the career professional, the business owner, the person 5 years down the line who has total control over this vice, it's no longer a vice at all. You actually probably help other men through it. What are some of the labels that you have on yourself at that point? What are some of the things that need to change that you need to step into to make you be able to take full control over this? Now, we start this with the words, I am, right? I am capable. I am made to do hard things. Can you guys feel how just that story that we tell ourselves of, I do hard things. This is what I do for a living. And I like to often think about like leadership. Leadership is not developed when everything's going well, everything's getting handed to us, and it's just easy, smooth sailing. Leadership is developed when you're in the when everything's not going well, and you step up and you lead anyway. And so when you remind yourself that you're able to do hard things, it doesn't mean that everything's rainbows and unicorns. It means that you were literally built and made to do this. Some more is, I am relentless. That's one from Gary John Bishop. Like, I do not give up until I find a way. Can you see how that transforms your energy when you just think that? Another one is, I am powerful. I am resilient. These are some different examples, but I want you to take about maybe another minute. I want you to brainstorm some different labels that you can give yourself to help you step into this new version of you. So take about 30 seconds, 45 seconds, write down what comes up for you. All right. Now here's what we're going to ask you to do. We're going to ask you to get into groups of around 6. All right. Now, Frank was talking about this earlier. Like the piece that helped him out, it sounds like the most, is putting it out there and having conversations. Because it's very hard when it's just stuck in your head and you actually don't have anybody that you can bounce ideas off of. And I think the best part is being in an environment like we're in right now, a psychologically safe environment where we're able to share some of this and other people are able to call us forward and be able to share some of the different labels that maybe have potentially worked for them is really, really powerful. One of the powerful things is being in a group like this is we have to be willing to challenge each other when we know there's a different level, when we know there's a little bit more potential. I see a lot of the guys up here in the front row, they do it all the time. They're like, wait, what did you say? It takes a lot of courage to be able to do that. But also when it's coming from a place of love, when it's coming from a place of, I know what your potential is and you've got more inside of you and I'm going to challenge you a little bit on that. It comes from a different place. And sometimes we need men like that. And that's the reason why I actually joined the DEA and why I'm here today is because I need to continue to surround myself with people who are willing to challenge me. So challenge each other and be able to level up each other's answers, right? Really reminding yourself of these labels, the labels that you're stepping into is really an important part of the process. I know somebody was talking about like affirmations, reminding themselves of what they're fighting for and these labels that they're stepping into. It's not going to be like an overnight switch, right? I wish it was that easy, but it's all about reminding yourself of what you're fighting for. And the stories that you tell yourself, they get you to show up that way, right? I know when we talking about like being inauthentic, a lot of us have this comparison mode where we start to compare ourselves to other people, right? Every single one of you guys is an individual for a reason, right? If we were all looked the same, we all acted the same, and we all did the same things, like where would we all be, right? We're special and we're individual just like our kids are, right? It's like trying to choose which of your kids you love more, right? It's like, that's not something I'm willing to do. You're each an individual and each one of you guys is an individual too, right? So remind yourself of these new labels that you're stepping into. And when you hear yourself saying those things, I want you to, especially like not just here, but when you go back home, I want you to remind yourself of when you hear yourself say those things out loud to stop yourself and step into the new label. One of the best things you guys already have accountability partners. They're called kids. Okay. One of the things that my son knows is that I do not allow the word trying. I'm trying to do this or I'm trying to do that. I'm like, are you going to do it or are you not going to do it? However, when he said that he was going to write a letter to Santa asking for an Xbox, I said I would try to get Santa the letter. And he said, are you going to give him the letter or not? So when you have those accountability partners, call out to them, right? Say, hey, if you hear me saying this too, I want you to call me out and call me forward too, because I don't want to use that label on myself. All right.